All right, well, thank you. So my name is Jackie Burmeister. I am part of the City of Worcester Department of Public Works and Parks, Lakes, and Ponds program. And I'm here today to talk a little bit about Cyanobacteria citizen science success story that we've had in the heart of the Commonwealth, in central Massachusetts, our chapter of the Worcester Cyanobacteria Monitoring Collaborative. So just a little bit about Worcester's lakes. We're a city of about 185,000 people. We're actually the second biggest city in New England. These are urban lakes. They have a lot for recreation. They're not drinking water. They're generally shallow. They're all mill ponds from the Industrial Revolution. They have a huge impact from stormwater, just it being such a developed area, and a lot of water quality challenges. Quite a few TMDLs for phosphorus. We also have invasive aquatic plants, algal blooms, spigobacteria, and low DO as our impairments. So those are some of the challenges we've had. Some of the opportunities that exist are that they are public access for the most part. Many of them are owned by the city or the state. There is a lot of private development that is sees these water bodies as drivers of economic development because they have recreational opportunities that come with them, and there are a lot of engaged citizen groups around the water bodies. So in 2016, the City of Worcester decided to start maintaining these water bodies a little bit more, seeing them for that recreational and economic value. They created the Lakes and Ponds program. It's one of the first municipal lakes and ponds program. And basically the idea is that water quality really drives the recreational uses in this area. So I was hired to kind of manage the public areas and kind of be technical assistance to those privately owned lakes and ponds. So I developed a monitoring program to inform management. I do a lot of outreach and education and promotion of these water bodies as recreational spaces. While the program has enjoyed a lot of success over the years and has grown, we still have some challenges. There is a lack of community understanding and involvement in water quality issues. It's a big city, and it's hard to reach all of those different stakeholder groups as one person. There are more water bodies in Worcester than I personally can monitor myself, and a lot of them are private, so we can't necessarily use public funds to monitor them. There's a lack of understanding about the extent of cyanobacteria blooms. We are getting new ones every year, similar to what they're seeing in Connecticut. There is this desire to contribute to a larger body of knowledge about what's going on about these blooms. We understand that there might be some public health regulations about toxins in the future. We really want to get ahead of that. We want to prevent these blooms from happening in the first place. And so a lot of what I do is management of those blooms with those lake treatments. And there's also a lack of communication between the individual watershed groups. So all of these are opportunities that a citizen science group could kind of help remediate. So just getting more people involved, getting more people educated about these issues. I heard about the CMC a few years ago, started talking to Hillary about it, and he came out and did a training for the few watershed groups that I had already been working with. And our program started in the beginning of 2017. We purchased 3 scopes and several kits. And we really focused on training people in cyanoscopes, specifically looking at just cyanobacteria, which is really the purpose of the program. We had a small space that we could use that volunteers could collect samples once a month during the summer months and bring them in to use these 3 microscopes that we had. It was in like the back of a boathouse in like an accounting office. It was like not, it was like right here. It was like not very conducive for this type of work, but it was a space that we could work in. We met 4 times. Those volunteers came in and posted 20 observations on the iNaturalist. And we had 3 or 4 lakes represented. Most of them were those public lakes. The next year, in 2018, we started to gain a little more momentum. We did a little more advertising. We got a new location to do this research. It was like a drinking water pump station. So it was like the cement building with big water pumps in them. We purchased 2 more scopes, and now the participants could actually use the scopes. It's not just me running their samples. We added some integrated tube samples. We got up to 7 lakes in the city involved. A lot of private lakes were getting involved. We got kids involved and trained in these methods. We did 7 sampling events, so over 7 months. We added 17 more cyanobacteria uploads. We started looking for more phytoplankton and zooplankton as well. We found this was a way to get more people interested because those are sometimes a little more charismatic. And so getting those, getting people interested and excited about the program was a huge push. Like just looking at microcystis every day is not going to get people into it, unfortunately. So we created monthly reports as well to kind of explain those findings, and they would go out to all the watershed groups and all the participants that they could share. Then finally, this past year, we had a lot of new participation. We had a lot more increased advertising, and we got a really great space that we could use, the Blackstone Heritage Quarter Visitor Center, this brand new facility that was built in Worcester. It's really beautiful. It's got these big windows and wood floors and really inviting space to use microscopes. We got 7 scopes in total, so more than enough. There's not as many people waiting to use the scopes. We have 2 computers and cameras that we use to take the pictures. Lots of new faces from local colleges. We even got other towns. We've expanded the geographic area that we're studying to Worcester County and not just the city of Worcester. We have increased coordination with other sampling efforts that are going on by the city. And we had 5 sampling sessions with over 11 lakes represented. And so, yeah, it's grown quite a bit in this 3rd year. So in addition to just uploading those images to iNaturalist, we are very proud. We got 77 uploads of just cyanobacteria this past year. We're on like the top 5 charts, so we're really excited about that. We got, there are all these secondary benefits of having the citizen science program, including increased communication between watershed groups who are now able to start working together on issues that affect them. We are all in the same watershed, the Blackstone River watershed, and so there are some projects that we've begun to start working together on in collaboration, which never happened before, and it has to do with all the face-to-face interaction that the watershed groups have had. There's also been increased involvement from people who were not previously involved in watersheds, and then just more outreach and education and people gaining basic science skills and getting excited about this type of work. So this is just a flyer that we have. We hand out at some of the events that I go to, getting people trained, as well as, this is an example of the report. We have all of the pictures, kind of a summary of what it all means, as far as the month that we are in that summer and the trends that we've begun to be able to tease apart. And yeah, this is my contact information. This is just some of the volunteers from this last summer, all coming from different lakes. So that's it. Any questions?